With the Auburn and Georgia game just a few days away, I want to take a few minutes and talk about what Bo Nix needs to do against the Georgia defense to put him and the offense in the best position possible to potentially succeed, and what he can expect from the Georgia defense. I'm not going to sit here and tell you something that you don't know. And that's the fact that Georgia's defense is the number one defense in college football, number one passing defense in college football, so of course the number one passing defense in the SEC. But I do want to look at a few clips of Georgia a game against Clemson this past year, or not this past year, this current year, and get some takeaways because I'm going to show 6 third downs, and 5 out of the 6 third downs are all different defensive play calls, right? They do so many different things well. There's only one of those play calls that was the exact same. And so you're going to see a lot of different things on Georgia's end that makes them so well. The thing is, they do so many different things well. So you're going to see sometimes where they only bring 3 guys and they still get pressure. They drop 8. They have a soft coverage. You're going to see times where they're more manned up and daring you to take a shot on them. So if I'm Bo Nix, there's not really a recipe for success. You have to make up your own recipe because no one's had success against them so far. If you're Bo Nix, you need to play like you played against LSU and use your legs often, but you're going to need to ask your receivers to make some plays to no drop balls, have high completion type throws, and have your receivers have a few broken tackles and lead to some big plays. You're going to need your receivers to make plays, and you're going to need to run around again because Georgia's going to be able to get pressure, 3 guys, 4 guys, or 5 guys, even 6 that you see them bring at times. But a lot of times they'll bring 3 or 4, drop guys into coverage, and try to bait you into making a bad throw. So just, of course, it's going to sound cliche, but a lot of times football is more simple than you think. Don't turn the ball over. Don't get in third and long, and your receivers are going to need to make plays. And then Bo Nix is going to have to use his legs again. But you can expect a spy. So offensively, get creative against that defense, right? So we're going to dive into the film, but before we do, I just want to read out these pretty impressive defensive stats that Georgia's defense has. Okay, so number one passing defense in the nation and the SEC, right? They've given up 1 passing touchdown through 5 games. They're averaging 110 yards through the air per game, which is outstanding through 5 games. They have 7 receptions and then they have 18 sacks. So they pretty much do everything well on defense, even though we're just talking about the passing game here. So let's go on and dive into it. Again, we're going to look at 6 clips. We'll kind of break it down the details. You kind of see that the difference, the defensive coverage, and what the front 7 are doing as well. And then just keep in mind what we talked about, what Bo Nix needs to do to potentially have success against this defense. Let's go ahead and dive into these 6 clips. So here's a 3rd and 8 against Clemson. It's something you obviously never want to get into. But the real big problem with Georgia is obviously they're so damn good, but they can get pressure with 3 linemen. And sometimes they only bring 3. A lot of times they'll drop 8, especially in passing situations. Or you might see them bring some type of kind of exotic blitz or D-line movement. Regardless, they only bring 3 here and they still bring pressure. So if I'm Bo Nix, you need to have the mindset that even though quote-unquote pressure isn't being brought or extra pressure isn't being brought, they can still get pressure on me with 3 guys, right? So quick decision making, which is exactly what Clemson wants to bait you into doing, so they can get an interception or a bad throw. So quick decision making, but at the same time not forcing anything. So we're gonna see Clemson drops 8. They've got to cover 3, so he drops. This guy has this zone. This backer's out here, this zone, drop in. Then this safety thirds. This safety moves up here, just making it kind of really nowhere to go. So there's no one open here, and then Georgia's able to get a sack here. So obviously Bo Nix going to be much more mobile than DJ. So hopefully there's some kind of some off script plays that Bo Nix is able to do. I think he is going to have to use his legs against Georgia's defense, but I would not be surprised to see a spy there. But let's keep on going and look at a few more clips of Georgia against Clemson. So here's a 3rd and 4 against Clemson. So it's going to be a different look, right? The last play was a 3rd and 8, and we saw, that they showed they were playing a little softer coverage, and they only brought 3. This time they're going to bring, I believe, 5 here, and they get pressure on him. So 3rd and 4, different look. It looks like it's 2 up top safeties here. So the 2 options are, if I'm a quarterback, you're thinking, okay, potentially a cover 2 if this guy drops in. If this guy comes, I know for a fact, unless this backer comes out, which he wouldn't go on to that receiver, but if this guy comes, I know for a fact it's going to be cover 1 man under, which is exactly what it is. So we're going to see this safety is responsible for the back end here. Then more man across the board. So we're going to see pressure gets to him, though. Okay, so they end up bringing 6 guys. They drop him here. Okay, so 5 guys. I apologize, but we see that this right here would make for a crossing route that much more difficult. This Georgia defender coming back here, they bring 5. They get pressure on DJ again. So just to kind of reiterate here, Georgia can have multiple different looks, and they're very good at it. They can get pressure with 3, with 4, with 5, and then they go with man, cover 3, whatever it may be. They're just trying to have different ways to force the quarterback to make a mistake. So as we talked about before, to win this game, you're going to need Bo Nix to use his legs. You're also going to need your receivers to make a few plays and break some tackles. Here's another 3rd and 7, right? So this is the third down we've seen, and this is the third different look. We've had 3rd and 8, 3rd and 4, 3rd and 7, so all within 4 yards of each other, and you've seen Georgia play it differently. So Georgia has 4 down linemen. They're bringing all of them. They're dropping 7 into coverage. It's probably a quarters type look, right? We got a fourth, and a fourth of the field, potentially some type of cover 2 squat. So we're going to see a good ball here by DJ, and I think you're going to have to do this, right? I think this is an example of taking what the defense gives you and asking your guy to make a play, right? To win this game, you're going to have your guys make a play because you don't want to force it there. Even on 3rd and 7, throw it underneath the chains and ask your guy to make a guy miss if the situation is appropriate to do so. So just an example of that. Auburn's going to need their receivers to make a few plays against Georgia's talented DBs, and will they be able to? I guess we'll find out Saturday, but to beat them, they're going to have to. All right, so let's take us to a 3rd and 9 here, and we've seen this look before. We saw this a few clips ago, so we're going to have a cover 1 here, actually. Or, I'm sorry, it's going to end up being a cover 3. It looks like cover 1 pre-snap because you kind of got not press coverage here, but close line scrimmage. Up here, he's more off-line scrimmage. And we're going to see them bring 4, right? It looks like they're going to bring 6, but they only bring 4. So if you're Bo Nix, realizing pre-snap is not always equal post-snap, it sounds cliche and easy, but sometimes it's a bit tougher to act upon than just to know about it. So DJ fumbles the ball here, fumbles the snap, but let's look at the coverage here. Because, again, they're going to try to bait you into throwing something in front. So this safety is responsible for the whole field here. You might have just off-man coverage here, regardless it's a cover 1 or cover 3 scheme here. And they bring 4. They get pressure on him, even though he did fumble the ball. They still got pressure on him. So actually picks up a few yards there. But just an example of that cover 1/cover 3 look that you could get from Georgia, and also a good example of them getting pressure with just 4 guys. So just to reiterate that Bo Nix will need to use his legs and probably need to have some design quarterback runs to do that. However, like we talked about, Georgia's probably going to have a spy on him. So here's another 3rd and 9, and we're going to see this time we got a cover 2 look. Even though they're off-line scrimmage, looks like quarters pre-snap, it's going to be a cover 2 here. And we're going to see a very kind of exotic blitz here. They're going to bring 4 guys. I believe he comes. They got 1 guy kind of staying put here, and they're still able to get pressure. Ends up being an incomplete pass. But just another example of this is what our 5th, I think, play we're going through, and it's already your 4th different look on a 3rd and medium to long. So we'll see. Bails out here. Corner come here. He has a delayed blitz, right? This is probably something you're going to see them do against Bo Nix. For the simple fact, Nix can run. Put that spy on him, and if he doesn't break the pocket, go get him, right? So we're going to see the corner or the DB blitz comes untouched. TJ has to get rid of the ball quick. Nothing there, right? So again, they had a cover 2 in the back end, bringing 4 here. Another example of just a different look that you could see from Georgia. Sometimes incompletions are the best plays against Georgia's defense. But just to kind of reiterate, have your receivers make a play, Bo Nix use his legs, and just don't force a ball that shouldn't be there against this defense. So here's the pick 6 of Clemson against Georgia. This is exactly what you don't want to do if you're Auburn and Bo Nix, and something that they'll be trying to force you to do. We're going to see pressure gets to him, right? So they hurry the throw. 5 guys come. It's 3rd and 4. We're going to see safety bail here, and we see off coverage. This DB off coverage as well. So you have some type of cover 3 scheme to one side, maybe towards the field side, then like a man-to-man towards the boundary side. Something that they do often, where they have one scheme on field side, one scheme boundary side. Regardless, this is the DB that makes the pick, right? So he's showing a ton of space here. So pre-snap, DJ reads these guys blitzing. You're taught, okay, wherever the blitzer is coming from, I'm going there with the ball. That's exactly what he does. I'll pause before he throws, because look how far off he is, right? He's, 7 yards off the receiver, maybe 6. Ball is in the air. He's able to break extremely fast on it. That's just something that's going to be hard to coach against. Breaks on it, and then the rest is history. Takes it to the house for a touchdown there. So that just makes the challenge that much tougher whenever you have DBs that can break the ball like that for Bo Nix. Now, I'm not saying all this to say it's impossible for Auburn to make it close, but we're just looking at all what Georgia does well on defense. And so avoiding these type of throws, even if it looks like the guy is open, need to be decisive, make sure he's actually open before letting it rip. So we just saw 6 third-down plays from Georgia against Clemson, and we saw 4 different defensive play calls within those 6 plays. So you can expect some different things from Georgia's defense, but the one thing you can expect is for whatever defensive play call they run, it's going to probably ran to perfection, right? So if you're Bo Nix, understanding these things, understand they could drop 8 and bring 3 and force you to try to make a bad decision. They could bring 5 or 6 and have press man and force you to make the perfect throw. So if you're Bo Nix, you just want to simplify everything. You're going to have to use your legs. You're going to have to ask your receivers to make some big plays against this talented Georgia secondary to win this game. It's a tall task at hand, right? You play in the #1 defense in the nation. But if you play a perfect game, who knows what happens in the fourth quarter, right? So anyways, I want to hear from you. What are your thoughts about Bo Nix? What does he need to do in this game against Georgia's defense? Let us know in the comments below. We'll see you next time on the next quarterback-related video.